Welcome back. Today I want to talk about bow-legged. So if you are bow-legged, then there's an easy fix for this. I say easy, it's going to take some work, but the exercises and the plan is very straightforward. So the problem with being bow-legged, as you probably know, is that it has a tremendous effect on your knee. So most people who are really bow-legged, my stepfather, for example, was bow-legged. He had both his knees replaced. And that's because when the knee doesn't sit correctly, so the upper leg bone, which is the femur, and the lower leg bone, which is the tibia, they're supposed to sit on each other and they're supposed to be correctly aligned. When you're bow-legged, instead of that alignment being correct, it's sitting like this, where there's actually too much pressure on one side of the knee. And the medial part of the knee, the inside of the knee joint, always gets worn away faster than the other part. So the cartilage in the knee joint, especially on the inside knee, is worn away quickly, it degenerates, and eventually you get bone on bone. So you don't want this. And there is a way to solve this. We just have to solve this position of the upper leg bone and the lower leg bone. We're going to do it with exercises that are going to trigger the muscles to realign this joint to the best we can. Even just taking a little pressure off that spot will make a tremendous difference in how you feel. Now there's one more thing that I want to talk about, because there's a difference between being bow-legged, which is when the knee joint is actually sitting slightly outside the hip joint. So if I take my hand and I put it right on this bony prominence right here, and I draw a line, that should be pretty much in line with my knee. And when someone's bow-legged, that knee is sitting outside that line. That's bow-legged. And that means, again, that the upper leg bone and the lower leg bone are completely out of whack, and it means that even the hip joint is not in the right position. There's a difference between being bow-legged and having what we call tibial torsion, which means that the actual hip joint and knee joint are actually aligned perfectly, but the tibia isn't. In fact, there's a big bow in the lower leg, and it bows out. That is a problem as well, but not as big of a problem. So if you have true bow legs, that's a major problem for the medial knee. Tibial torsion is much less of a problem. However, it will affect the ankle joint and the knee joint to some degree. So we want to solve it either way, and I'm going to give you a quick sequence to solve both problems. If you like this video and you like the content, please remember to subscribe so more people like you can find the help they need. So the first exercise, you're actually going to be sitting. And you're going to be sitting with your feet straight, about fist width apart, a pillow between your knees. You're going to put any pillow from your bed or your couch between your knees. You're going to sit forward on the chair, take your hips and roll the front of your hip bones forward towards your knees. And when you do that, you'll notice that there's a little arch in your lower back. So you're going to sit up tall, roll the hips forward to create that arch, and that engages the deep hip muscles and the stabilizing muscles of the femur. With this pillow, you're going to take your knees and you're going to squeeze, release, squeeze, release. You're just going to squeeze the pillow, let it go, squeeze, let it go. Back and forth. You're going to do this 60 times. And as you squeeze, release, you're going to feel the muscles in your inner thighs engage. Now what you'll notice is that the muscles on each side of your leg, so the muscles on the inner thigh of your right leg and the muscles of the inner thigh on your left leg, won't be working together equally yet. You want to make sure you squeeze about 60 to 70% of your effort rhythmically, squeeze, release, just at that pace, not really quickly. You're just pulsing it rhythmically at medium speed 60 times. And you're going to go, you want to make sure that these inner thigh muscles are working together equally. So they're not, one isn't working harder than the other. Keep those hips rolled forward, squeeze that pillow, squeeze, release. Now, you'll notice the inner thighs get really tired. And what we're doing here is we're triggering the correct stabilizing muscles of your hip joint and the knee joint in order to do their job together. Again, working together as a unit and to realign the bones and the joints. Now, when you get to 60, you're going to squeeze and hold. And by now, your inner thighs should be burning. You're going to interlace your hands together, lock out your arms, pull straight up overhead, elbows locked. Now, why are we doing this? Has to do with the position of your upper back. When you're bow-legged, you also have a thoracic back, an upper back that is out of alignment. And we need to tie in the spine with your hips, with your knees. We need to remind your body of its ability to work together as a unit. So squeeze that pillow hard, pull those hands back, straighten out your elbows, And don't forget to smile. Okay? So you're gonna do that for about 30 seconds to a minute. If you can make a minute, good job. Okay, for this exercise, you're gonna lie down on your back, interlace your hands underneath one knee, straighten out the other leg with that foot pointing straight up towards the ceiling rather than turned out. You're gonna pull this knee back just a little beyond 90 degrees. And you're going to circle that foot one direction. Big circles in one direction. As big a circle as you can make it, and you wanna make it slow and smooth, not fast. It's not a race. Big and slow, keep the lower leg perfectly still. Just the foot and ankle are moving. And you're gonna go 30 times in that direction, then you're gonna switch directions. Big circles the other way. Now this exercise is now realigning the ankle, the lower leg and the upper leg together as a unit. And we're reminding the foot and ankle of their role and their job, because when you're bow-legged or when you have tibial torsion, it means that the foot and ankle muscles are compromised. They're not all balanced, they're not all working together, they're not doing their job. This exercise will remind them to do their job and connect the ankle to the knee to the hip in a straight line. When you get to 30, you're gonna go the other way, so make sure you go both directions 30 times, and then you're gonna pull it back and point it. Relax your shoulders, pull it back and point, and you're gonna feel the muscles start to burn in your ankle, in your shin, in your lower leg. When you get to 30, switch legs. Interlace your hands out underneath your knee, pull that knee back slightly, left foot goes straight up, big circles one direction. Huge circles one direction, as big as you can get them. 30 times that way, switch directions, doesn't matter which direction you start in, and then you're gonna pull it back and point it 30 times. Okay, last exercise. You're gonna need a pillow from your couch or from a chair, from your bed, whatever you have. You're gonna put this pillow between your feet. Now there are two ways to do this exercise. You can do it whichever way feels best to you. The first way is to lean against a wall. So the first way is you're gonna lean against the wall. Pillow between your feet. Scoot your hips all the way back to the wall. Your legs straight out in front of you. Tighten your thighs. Flex your feet back, so you're pushing your knees down towards the ground, pulling your feet back, and you want to pull back from the outsides of your feet. So what you don't want is you don't want this, where your feet are turned in. You want them turned out so that they're totally flat. So the balls of my feet right now are facing you. Pillow between those feet, light pressure on the pillow, pull the outsides of those feet back, push your knees down, thighs tight. And one more thing to add in the mix, take your shoulder blades, squeeze them down and back, away from your ears, towards your hips, and you're gonna hold this for 2 full minutes. And what we're doing here is we're asking the upper leg, the lower leg, to realign and rebalance as they're designed. We're waking these muscles up, and we're reminding that the knee joint should be aligned, not crooked, not where one part of the upper leg is on the inside of that knee. So squeeze your shoulder blades back, thighs tight, feet pulled back towards your knees, ankles rotated so that you're pulling back from the outsides of your feet, hanging out here for 2 full minutes. This is tough, but this is work, and this is how you're gonna realign your knee. Now, the second way to do this is to actually move away from the wall, but same exact thing. You sit up tall, thighs tight, feet pulled back, only this time, you're gonna put your hands, interlace your hands together, hands behind your head, elbows back. And you're gonna hang out here. Again, your goal is 2 minutes. This is a lot tougher. You'll feel the muscles work totally different here. But if you're not flexible enough to do this position, get back against the wall. If you are flexible enough to do this position, roll your hips forward to sit up as tall as you can, push your knees down, flex your feet back, hands behind your head, elbows way back. And again, don't forget to smile. You might feel your leg muscles start to cramp. That means they're waking up. That's a good thing. Okay, so those are the exercises for bow legged. Enjoy, let me know how you do, and stay tuned for much more.